Today is Tuesday, the 18th of April, and this is from the South. On Monday, Venezuela's defense minister declared the army's loyalty to President Nicolas Maduro. This after the center-right opposition called on the military to turn on the president. The country is bracing for what Maduro's opponents vow will be, quote, the mother of all protests on Wednesday. Ecuador has begun a partial recount on its recent presidential election in a bid to highlight the fair process and result. This after the losing right-wing candidate Guillermo Lasso said there was a fraud. The April 2nd election was won by the government's socialist candidate Lenin Moreno in a close contest. The recount of the equivalent of 1.2 million votes, which would account for 12% of the total votes cast, will take place in public. At least 7 people have died due to dengue fever in Peru. As the floodwater begins to subside, authorities are planning to brace themselves for a major outbreak of dengue. Hundreds of cases are reported daily, with the region of Piura having at least 300 cases. Soldiers have been mobilized to distribute aid and health supplies, and the government has set up mobile clinics to treat people with suspected cases of dengue. The president of Switzerland, Doris Leuthard, is currently visiting Argentina, making it the first official visit to the country by a Swiss president. Leuthard and her counterpart, Mauricio Macri, have signed an agreement aimed at intensifying economic and business relations between the two countries. The two heads also discussed a free trade agreement between the European Free Trade Association, of which Switzerland is a member, and Mercosur, to which Argentina belongs. British Prime Minister Theresa May has called for an early general election on June 8th. May hopes for political unity through the election. The pound, which has fallen because of the Brexit vote and plunged ahead of May's announcement, rose sharply against the euro and the dollar after the announcement. Steve Stevens, the U.S. man wanted for killing an elderly man in Ohio and then posting a video of the murder on Facebook, has committed suicide. Stevens fatally shot himself after a brief pursuit in Pennsylvania. He had been the subject of a nationwide manhunt in the wake of Sunday's killing in Cleveland. Fighter jets from a U.S.-led coalition force have killed at least 23 civilians in 2 areas in the eastern Syrian province of Deir al-Zor. Video released allegedly shows wounded and dead children in the town of al-Burkmal. There was no immediate comment from the coalition, which has said it tries to avoid civilian deaths in its bombing campaigns against Islamic State militants in Syria and neighboring Iraq. Hundreds of people, mostly women, marched through the streets of Istanbul, Turkey for a second night to protest against a referendum that has granted President Erdogan new powers. The result of the referendum on Sunday laid bare the deep divide between the urban middle classes and the rural poor. An offshore boat has been found with 20 dead migrants on board by Libyan fishermen. Authorities suspect that the vessel ran out of fuel off the coast of the Libyan city of Sabratha, leaving the 28 people to die of thirst and hunger. Panamanian soccer star Amilcar Henriquez was shot and killed in front of his home outside Colón. Authorities are investigating motives into the killing. According to local media reports on Monday, a court ordered the detention of 3 minors aged between 15 and 17 for suspected ties to the homicide. More on these and other stories on our website telesurtv.net/English.